January 1st, New Year's Day. Every year, people enter Aokigahara during the first days of January. Some are hikers, some are explorers, some are simply walking paths they believe are familiar. Winter changes this forest, snow covers trail edges, leaves hide fractures in the ground. Markers become harder to see. Over the years, multiple hikers have gone missing here during winter, including during the New Year period. In several cases, entry points are known. Exit points are not. Aokigahara was formed by lava flows from Mount Fuji. The ground is not soil, it is volcanic rock, porous, sharp, and hollow. Beneath the forest floor are lava tubes, deep fissures, and collapsed caverns. Some openings are wide enough to walk into, others are hidden until weight is placed on them. Mobile phone signal is unreliable, GPS frequently fails. Compasses are known to behave erratically due to iron-rich rock. Search reports describe the same problems again and again. Dogs lose scent trails suddenly. Footprints stop without explanation. Sound does not travel far. From only a few meters away, a person can no longer be seen or heard. Helicopter searches are limited by the dense canopy. From above, the forest appears uniform. Nothing stands out. In several cases, no equipment was recovered. No backpack, no clothing, no clear direction of travel. Searches are often suspended during winter due to safety risks. Some resume months later, some never do. Japanese authorities classify certain incidents in Aokigahara as unresolved disappearances. What remains consistent is the pattern. People enter during a narrow window of time. Weather shifts, electronics stop working, and the forest gives no indication of what happened next. Aokigahara does not need myths to be dangerous. It is quiet, disorienting, and unforgiving. For some hikers who entered during New Year's Day periods, the only confirmed fact is this: they walked into the forest and were never recorded leaving it. People say Aokigahara is quiet. That isn't true. It's silent in a way that feels deliberate. Years ago, a young girl went missing near the forest's edge. Winter, early January. She was last seen walking along a marked path, wearing a light-colored coat. Search teams found her footprints for a short distance. Then they stopped. No signs of a fall, no torn clothing, no clear reason for her trail to end where it did. Weeks passed, then months. She was never found. Not long after, hikers began reporting something unusual. They described a small figure standing between the trees, too still to be a person, too solid to be missed. Some said she appeared near dusk. Others saw her in the early morning when the forest was empty. Always alone. When approached, she never spoke. She never moved closer. She simply watched. A few hikers claimed they followed her, only to realize they had left the trail without remembering when. One man said his compass stopped working the moment he saw her. Another said his phone camera refused to focus no matter how close she seemed. Then there were the footprints. Small, barely visible, leading away from the path and deeper into the trees. They never led back. Local guides warn visitors not to follow voices, not to follow shapes, and not to trust what feels familiar. Because in Aokigahara, people don't always get lost all at once. Sometimes they're led. And sometimes, when the fog settles just right, hikers still report seeing a girl standing quietly among the trees, waiting. They say the girl twisted the land so others would feel what she felt. Confusion, fear, endless wandering. They believe the forest remembers her. And every time someone steps off the path, every time someone disappears without sound, the curse is still working. Because Aokigahara isn't just a forest anymore. It's a place that learned how to keep people. The hiker remains still for several seconds after the figure disappears. The camera does not move. Only faint breathing is heard. Wind passes through the trees. Leaves shift slightly. The hiker slowly pans the camera left, then right, scanning the forest. Nothing is visible. The fog remains low and uneven. The hiker whispers something under their breath, unintelligible. The camera zooms slightly toward the area where the figure was last seen. Autofocus struggles. The image pulses in and out of clarity. A faint shape appears briefly behind a tree trunk far in the background. Not clearly defined, easy to miss. The camera does not react immediately, as if the hiker hasn't noticed yet. Several seconds pass. The camera lowers toward the ground. Footsteps resume, slow and cautious. The hiker walks forward a few meters. The forest remains silent. No birds, no insects. Suddenly, the camera stops again. The hiker turns sharply. The movement is abrupt, slightly disorienting. For a single moment, the Japanese female figure is visible again, farther away this time, partially obscured by trees. She appears in a different position than before, suggesting movement without being seen moving. There is no sound from her. No footsteps. The camera shakes slightly, as if the hiker's hand is unsteady. The image degrades. Digital noise, compression artifacts, dropped frames. The hiker attempts to zoom in. The image breaks up, the figure becomes indistinct. The camera lowers again, as if the hiker is backing away. A notification briefly appears on screen. No signal, or recording unstable. The forest sound cuts out for a fraction of a second. When the camera lifts again, the figure is gone. The hiker remains silent. Breathing is faster now. The camera points down the path ahead. It looks normal. Too normal. After several seconds of stillness, the video ends abruptly. No fade, no outro, no explanation. Search teams working in Aokigahara have reported abandoned cameras and phones found powered on, still recording. In more than one case, the footage showed long stretches of still forest, as if the device had been placed carefully on the ground. No voice, no movement. In one instance, investigators noted the camera slowly shifted its angle over time, not abruptly but gradually, suggesting it had been moved or disturbed. No person was visible in the footage. Hikers, unfamiliar with the forest, often report a specific phenomenon. They walk for long periods, following what appears to be a clear path, only to arrive back at the same marker, rock formation, or tree. GPS data later shows looping movement, sometimes in tight circles, sometimes in irregular patterns that don't match known trails. Veteran guides warn that when this happens, hikers should stop immediately. Those who don't sometimes disappear before help arrives. Multiple hikers have reported hearing voices inside Aokigahara, not loud, not clear, but close enough to feel personal. The voices are often described as calling a name, speaking softly, sounding familiar. When hikers attempt to locate the source, they quickly lose orientation. Search teams stress that sound behaves unpredictably in the forest due to tree density and terrain, yet no speaker or person is ever found. A recurring detail appears in incident reports. Hikers describe a moment when wind stops, insects go quiet, footsteps sound unnaturally loud. This silence is often followed by disorientation, anxiety, or the urge to leave the trail. Some hikers turn back immediately, others don't. The silence itself is not dangerous, but many unresolved cases include it as the last remembered detail. Footprints that end. Search teams have documented footprints in soft ground or snow that simply stop. No sign of struggle, no indication of a fall, no alternate path. In some cases, the prints end in open forest, not near ravines or caves. Investigators note that volcanic terrain can collapse under weight. But in these instances, no disturbance is visible. The individuals connected to those footprints were never recovered. Equipment left behind. Another pattern, personal equipment found neatly placed. Backpacks resting against trees, shoes aligned side by side, jackets folded. There is no clear explanation for why someone would remove survival gear in winter conditions. Authorities classify these scenes as non-criminal, but unexplained. The girl seen more than once. Multiple hikers, years apart, have described seeing a young female figure standing just off established paths. Descriptions are consistent: long dark hair, light or pale clothing, motionless posture. In every report, the figure does not approach. In several cases, hikers later realize they had unknowingly stepped off the trail while watching her. No official explanation exists for these sightings. Why? Searches fail. Aokigahara resists traditional search methods. Canine units lose scent on volcanic rock. Aerial searches cannot see beneath canopy. Compasses behave inconsistently. Lava tubes run for kilometers underground. Even thorough searches may miss a body only meters away. This has led to long delays, suspended operations, and unresolved outcomes. Local guides avoid dramatic language. They do not call the forest evil. Instead, they warn, stay on marked paths, don't follow shapes or sounds, don't walk alone, leave if something feels wrong. These warnings are based on experience, not legend. Closing thought. Aokigahara does not announce danger, it does not threaten, it does not chase. People enter with confidence, and sometimes are never recorded leaving. What happens between those two moments is often impossible to reconstruct, and that is why the forest continues to be studied, searched, and feared, not for what is known, but for what remains unanswered.